So we're up to chapter 10, verse 8, and the verse tells us at that time, after Moshe Rabbeinu was, what does it mean at that time here? Rashi doesn't tell us that, but at that time, Hivdil Hashem at Shevet HaLevi, Moshe separated the tribe of Levi, Laseit et Aron Brit Hashem, to carry the covenant, the ark with the covenant, Lamolofnei Hashem, to stand before God with Sharto, to serve him, to bless him in his name until this day. So what does it mean at that time? So Rashi says, this goes back to the earlier passage. At that time, Moshe Hashem separated the tribe of Levi. The first year since they left Egypt, when you made the mistake with the golden calf, but the tribe of Levi didn't make this mistake. So Hashem set the tribe of Levi apart from everybody else. And the verse puts this verse next to the children, the retreat to Bnei Akan, tell us that the Bnei Levi didn't make a mistake there as well, but they stood in their faith. To carry the ark, this refers to the Leviim. To stand before Hashem, to serve him, and to make a blessing in his name. This refers to the Kohanim, Hunasiyat Kapayim. This is the Birka Kohanim. So this is this is a surprise for everybody, even though we only do Rashi here. Yesterday I asked the question. It says in chapter 10, verse 1, that Hashem told Moshe to prepare an Aron Kodesh before he brings down the second set of tablets. So what was the plan for the first set of tablets? What was the plan? So the Ramban answers that question. The Ramban tells us that on chapter 10, verse 1, the Ramban tells us it wasn't from that Hashem specifically did not tell Moshe before the first set of tablets to prepare an Aron Kodesh, because Hashem knew that those tablets would break. And so therefore, he wasn't going to tell Moshe to prepare it. So therefore, it was preordained that they would break. That the first tablets would break. I'll say, okay, we go on. So the verse tells us, the verse tells us, therefore, the tribe of Levi did not have a portion, an inheritance with his brothers. God was at his inheritance. Just like Hashem, your God, spoke to him. Rashi says, therefore, Levi did not have a portion because they were set apart for the altar service. And they weren't free to plow or to sow. So therefore, since they're serving, the tribe of Levi is serving in the altar, therefore for this reason, are you coming closer? Okay, therefore for this reason, they didn't get a portion in the land. God is his inheritance. Verse tells us, Notel pras muzuman. Levi takes a prepared portion, the base from the house of the king. Meaning to say that Levi receives its reward more directly from Hashem than the other tribes. So at that time, Moshe says, as for me, but as for me, Amadati Bahar, I stood on the mountain, like the first days, so I stood there like the first time for 40 days and 40 nights, and God listened to me then, and God does not desire to, and Hashem did not wish to destroy you. So what is this verse telling us? Rashi tells us, I stood on the mountain now after he goes up for another 40 days. Because earlier it didn't tell us how long he stood up on the mountain now. So it comes back and tells us this point. Like the first days, for the first tablets, Moshe was up there for 40 days and 40 nights. Oh, we like your hat, Deborah. That's very good. Like the first days, he was up there for 40 days and 40 nights. Mahei b'ratzon, just like those were where God was goodwill with Hashem, with Bnei Israel, afelu b'ratzon. But in the middle 40, but the middle 40, then we were in anger. So we said this yesterday, we'll repeat this again. How many days was Moshe up on the mountain? Moshe was up on the mountain for a total of 120 days. 120 days. The 40 days to receive the first tablets, the 40 days to receive the last tablets, and in between 40 days, where God was angry with the Jewish people, and Moshe was trying to argue for the Jewish people to not be destroyed. So those are the middle 40 tablets. So it says the Gemara, it says the verse, so that's why it's 120 days. And God said to me, go up for your journey before the people. Then come and take possession of the land that I swore to their forefathers to give to them. So, meaning to say, when is God saying get up and go and conquer the land? This is after the golden calf. The Jewish people were still having a right to go into the land. As it states, God says, even though you turned away from God, and you made a sin with the golden calf, he said to me, go lead the people. Meaning right after the sin of the golden calf, they were told, go lead the people and go into the land. It says the verse 12, what does God ask from you? What does God ask from you? What does God ask for you? But to serve Hashem your God with all your ways, to go walk in all His ways with love, and to serve Hashem your God with all your heart and with all your soul. But Rashi here does not cite what Gemara. It says, "Ma Hashem Elokecha shalom leimach." What does God ask from you? The Gemara reads it as Meya, that Hashem asks from you to make 100 blessings every single day. This is the source of the idea that you're supposed to make 100 blessings every day. It's the Gemara cites it based upon this verse. You could see that in the Safaria, Rabbi Yosef. You can find the exact Gemara. Hashem asks from you to recite 100 blessings every day. I promise you, if you're makbid on that, if you're very careful to recite the 100 blessings a day, it's got to be such an incredible segula to recite 100 blessings a day. Can you imagine? So now Hasidim, some Hasidim have a custom. In the morning, there's like the Birkos HaShachar. So one person goes up, recites the Birkos HaShachar, everybody says Amen. And another one goes up, recites the Birkos HaShachar, everyone says Amen. And then you have 10 people going up, and you have the 100 blessings right there at the beginning of the day, and nobody's because by answering Amen, you're also fulfilling the obligation to recite 100 blessings. So that's a custom. You ever see that custom?
Yeah. You want it in Hebrew also, Rabbi?
No, just to give me the citation of the Gemara. Where's the Gemara?
It's here in Brachos. I'm just asking if you want it also in Hebrew.
Oh, I wasn't looking at it. I didn't see that screen. Yeah.
Sorry.
Brachos what?
33b.
Brachos 33b. Okay.
And about that, by the way, I once heard from Rav Tzuriel that tzaddik, and the word is tzaddik is 90 amens, dalet is 4 kaddish, 10 is 10. Dalet is 4 barchus, yud is 10 kaddish, and kuf is 100 blessings.
Shkoyach. Beautiful. So what does Rashi say? Afa pisha, see that we're in chapter 10, verse 12. Afa pisha sitim kozos, even though you've done all this, God's compassion and affection are still upon you, even though you sin with the golden calf. and everything that you sin before him, he doesn't ask from you except Kimu Yirah. Rabbis taught from here, everything is in the hands of heaven, except for the fear of heaven. Okay, so now we go on. What does Hashem ask from you? Shmor mitzvot Hashem, to watch the mitzvot of God, and His laws that I command you to be good for you. Rashi says, you'll be compensated. You're going to receive a reward. Behold, for Hashem your God is the heaven and the Shmei Hashemayim and the highest heavens, the earth, the land, and everything that's in it. Rashi says, everything is there, and even so, only your forefathers that Hashem cherished. Minakol v'zaram mi bachem k'mo she'atem ro'im atem chashukim mikol amim hayom hazeh. You are more beloved from amongst all the peoples. Okay, I'm sorry, your question, Seth? Okay, verse 15. Rak babotecha chashak Hashem, all amongst your forefathers the God desire, to love them. God selected you from amongst all the seed, amongst the peoples like this day. Verse 16. So we know that there's the foreskin that we have to remove. And here we're seeing that there's a foreskin of the heart. What's the foreskin of the heart? What does that mean, the foreskin of the heart? You have to circumcise the foreskin of the heart. And your neck you shall not stiffen anymore. What does it mean, the foreskin of your heart? Rashi says, Otem uvavtem, v'chisuyav, the blocking of your heart and its covering. Argo here does not mean foreskin, it means a blockage, Rashi says. So remove the things that block your heart. I want to tell you, I don't know if any of you have ever slaughtered a chicken. When I used to slaughter chickens, I don't do it anymore. But when I used to slaughter chickens, they would take the chicken heart, and the person who taught me showed me that there was like a little membrane there, and he said that this is what the moles practice on before they learn how to do bris milah. They practice on the chicken heart. That's the foreskin of the heart. Maybe they thought that the heart had this little membrane on it, so you have to remove that. I don't know.
Steinfeld says be more sensitive and less stubborn.
Yeah, well, that's clearly what Rashi is saying. But I mean, it's clearly the implication of it. Don't be so closed-minded, so cut off. By the way, now that we have even more people here in person and on Zoom, I could just share with you. I don't know who was here yesterday when we raised the question: what was the plan for the Aron Kodesh for the first commandments? And yeah, yesterday I didn't know, but now I do know that the Ramban discusses this question. Probably others do. And the Ramban says that Hashem specifically did not ask for ark for the first commandments because Hashem knew that it was going to be destroyed. So what would be the point? That should have been a clue to Moshe. Because Moshe was walking down the mountain and he didn't see where to put he didn't know where to put the luchos. Okay, Hashem knew, but Mamela, what was Moshe thinking? Moshe probably thought, I'll have to hold them. Like you hold the Torah after you do Hagbah, he probably thought I have to hold them.
Makes sense.
I mean, maybe.
They need to hold them. Hashem knew that, so there was no.
It makes sense from Hashem's perspective, or about from Moshe's perspective.
I don't think he needs to question that.
Right. He wasn't going to question. When he comes down, he says, "We'll figure it out," but he never made it down with him. Baruch atah Adonai Melech Shakol Ne'evet. That's one. 99 more. 99 more. Okay. So now it says, next verse, Ki Hashem Ekev hu Elokei ha'olamim, Elokeim v'Adonai Adonai Makar v'Gdol HaGibor ben Hara asher lo yisah panim v'lo yikach shochad. Hashem, your God, He is the God of the gods, the master of the masters, the mighty, the great, the awesome, does not show favoritism, does not take bribes. Rashi says, no Lord can save him from your hand. No other God or no master. He doesn't take bribes. If you break loose from his yoke, you can't buy him off with money. But you can bring a sacrifice, but it has to be exactly the way God says it. Your God, he does justice for the orphan and the widow. He loves the stranger, and He gives him bread and clothing. Rashi says, Hare Gevura, the Eitzel Gvurato, Atamotze an Vitanuto. See now, they mentioned God's greatness, His might. Everybody else bows down to Him, but now they mention His humility, that He takes care of the orphan and the widow. So the Torah, Rashi is saying, the Torah is saying, we just showed you how mighty He is, but yet He cares for the orphan and the widow.
But wouldn't that be expected from us as well?
That's why it's expected of us, because this is what God does.
The greater we are, the more we have to pay attention to those.
We learn this from Hashem. And He loves the foreigner to give him bread and clothing. And this is a very significant thing that He gives to the foreigner, because this is all God prayed for. This is all Jacob prayed for him. Food to eat and clothing to wear. Verse 19. You must love the stranger, because you were strangers in the land of Egypt. Rashi says, if you had a blemish, don't say this blemish to your friend. Don't taunt your friend with the same flaw you share in common with him. So it's saying, do not disparage your strangers, because you were a stranger in the land of Egypt. You were once a stranger. Et Hashem al-kecha tirah, you shall fear Hashem your God. Oto tavod, you shall worship Him. Devoted back to Him, you shall cleave. V'shmo tishaveh, in His name you shall take an oath. What does that mean? She says, Hashem al-kecha tirah, tavod, serve Him. V'tidbak, go cleave to Him. U'achashiv b'chako amidos ha'va'o, v'shmo tishaveh. After all of these traits will be found in you, then you can swear with His name. Meaning you can only swear in God's name if you're have sufficient Yirah Shamayim. Not anybody can swear in God's name. He is your praise, He is your God. He did these great and mighty things that your eyes saw. The Shivim Nefesh, your Adu Avasechem Mitzrayim, with 70 souls, He went down to Egypt. And now God made you like the stars of the sky, numerous.
I thought the common practice is no one swears today. In fact, when we go to court, we don't swear, we affirm, even if we have Yiras Hashem.
Right, because today, who is going to say that they have Yiras Hashem?
I don't know.
Only somebody who doesn't have Yiras Hashem could be so. Only somebody who has.
I don't know when who swears when I'm asking really.
Yeah, only somebody who says doesn't admit to having Yiras Hashem could possibly have Yiras Hashem. So the great tzaddikim wouldn't take an oath ever. They would be very careful, and so today we be very careful. People are very careful.
So no one swears.
I didn't say no one swears, but you have
What's
to
the purpose of swearing then? If is it a higher madrega of commitment to what you're saying?
Yeah. Also to scare a person, make sure he's telling the truth. If he wants to, if it's about money, put a Sefer Torah on it and have him hold the Torah, and then have him go out in the middle of the night to the graveyard. That's what they used to do.
What if a spouse wants you to swear on something, like to let you know that it's a firm truth that you wouldn't swear on Hashem's name. Would you be allowed to do that to your spouse?
Your spouse is saying, swear to me?
Swear to me, yeah, swear to me. It's the truth. Like you didn't cheat on me. Swear to me that you didn't.
I mean, first of all, I don't want to get in between any spouses, but
No, I'm not, it's a hypothetical. It's
what I'm saying, I don't know about every single case, but our strong guidance from the sages is for us to avoid oaths, but sometimes you have no choice. So if it's to save your marriage, and somebody came to me and they said that we needed to do this to save the marriage, I would say, okay, to save a marriage, yeah. But I would say this. If a person is reluctant to take an oath, for sure they shouldn't take an oath when it comes to spousal matters, because there the person will lie. The person might not lie for $1 million, but to save their marriage, they'll lie, or so that the wife doesn't get mad at them. I know, so meaning to say that I would be really careful. But if you have no choice, you have no choice. What are you going to do? Yeah, Hashem, we know from the passage in the Sota that for Shalom Bayit, Hashem even allowed his name to be destroyed. Because we took this name of the Sota, the passage, and the name of God was erased. Yeah. So it doesn't mean you could swear falsely, but Hashem's name was erased. Yeah, Rabbi Yosef.
In the Israeli army, they allow religious boys to say Ani Matzir, which means I declare, as opposed to Ani Nishba.
What, like?
But you would hope in Israel that they would be sensitive to that. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. After you shall love Hashem your God, Ushmarta Mishmato, and guard his watches, his charges, guard his laws and his judgments, his mitzvahs all the days. You shall know today, you should know today that it is not with your children who didn't know and who didn't see the Musa of Hashem, your God, and his greatness and his strong hand and his outstretched arm. That's not who I'm talking today. Rashi says, you should listen closely and accept my rebuke. I'm not speaking now with your children who could say, we didn't see this. And no, not with your children who didn't see the signs and his wonders that he did in Egypt to Pharaoh of Egypt. Well, who's Moshe talking to here? Because if he is talking to the next generation, they didn't see all these signs.
That's exactly what Rashi is saying. I am not talking to your sons, meaning to the kids that are the second generation, that they can say we didn't see it.
Yeah, but Moshe is speaking. When is Moshe giving these words? He's giving it in year 40, so he is speaking to their sons.
Well, maybe do you believe that the people that were the men that were above the age of 60 didn't die at the time of the decree?
Okay, there were some people there who were 19 when they left Egypt, so they didn't die. But there were certainly people there who were...
No, I'm talking about the opposite, on the other side of the spectrum. People who were already 60 when they came out of Egypt. They
died. They all died. Everybody died. All those men died.
Says some of them were alive.
Some?
He said that he acknowledges that some didn't witness it with their own eyes, but he says his audience includes all the survivors who were not of the military age at the time of the descent of the spies, because they were too young, too old. There could have been other people that were there.
Right, so the people who were 19, 18-year-olds, 17.
That's what he's talking
about. But it seems like so you then have to say he's giving this speech to just a small segment.
He's giving it so the others hear it, but he's not saying it's not
Right.
that it wasn't to somebody that didn't see it. It's giving it to everybody to share the message, but it's actually to people that were there.
Because the other way you could say this is you could read this psukim as saying that Moshe is telling us the speech that he gave after the golden calf. And that means it's going backwards.
Well, he's also saying the tribe of Levi was there because they
Right.
didn't die in the wilderness.
The
So.
tribe of Levi and the women.
And the women and the children, yeah, exactly. So there were direct people that they were talking to that saw it.
Yeah, so at least
That's a
50%
good point.
of the people were still there. Basically.
Okay, good, yeah, very nice. There's also Sav, that's my Sav, Asher, Sav, Toch, Mitzrayim, okay, we did that. Verse 4, Asher, Asel, Chal, Mitzrayim, Susav, Rapo, Asher, Tzivit, Meyam, Tziv, Apaneim, B'Ratzam, Achreim, Achreichem, Vayabdeim, Hashem, Alayom, Azeh. And that he did to the soldiers of Egypt, to his horses and chariots that floated in the Yam Suf, he took the water of Yam Suf on their face and he pursued after you. And Hashem destroyed them until this day. God did for you in the wilderness until you came to this place. Verse 6, with Datan v'Aviram, B'nai Eliyav ben Ruvain, Asher Potz Haaretz Piyam, v'Tivraim, v'Patiim, v'Torim, v'Tkol Yikum, Asher B'Raglayim B'Kerev Kol Yisrael. And that God did to Datan and Aviram, the sons of Eliyav, the sons of Ruvain. Earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them and their houses and their tents. Did you find something down there, Elon?
Oh, it was a fly.
Did you get it? Did you get it?
Got it.
Baruch Hashem. There's a tissue right here. He's our fly swatter. So it said that that God did to Dasan and Aviram and the sons of Eliav, son of Reuben, the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them in their houses and all their supplies. Yeah, Hashem Raglayim B'Kerev Kol Yisrael, in the midst of all of Israel.
Is it?
It doesn't mention Korach.
Yes, it doesn't mention Korah.
Not
That's
here.
right. How many times is it? It mentions Datan and Aviram many times in the Torah. It regurgitates their name and it regurgitates the other
I
two.
was gonna say the Midrash sort of tags Datan and Aviram as general like troublemaker. I think there are a few other points of information, but there are troublemakers, and the Medrash pipes up and says, "Oh, it's Datan and Aviram."
I see.
So
Rashi
Rashi has a different explanation.
No, isn't it mentioned?
No, not here, but I mean in the story that like. Oh no! Well, actually, it's interesting because it says then Korach will meet.
That's back in the book of Bamidbar, but now we're in Devarim. That was in Parashas. That was in Matos. So it says here, B'Kerev Kol Yisrael. Rashi says, Kol makom sheyachem me'hem boreach. What does it mean? Whenever one of them would flee, haaretz nifkat mitachtav uvoratzo. But whenever one of the members of Korach and his Datan and Aviram would run away, the earth would split open beneath them and swallow them up. That's the position of Rabbi Yehuda. But Amar Rabbi Nechemiah, V'lo kfar nemar v'tiftach haaretz as piyah. V'lo piyah said, it says the earth opened up its mouth, not its mouths. So Amar lo mani mikayim b'kerev kol Yisrael. So what do you mean from the verse that it swallowed them up in the midst of all of Israel? Amar lo shenasis haaretz midron k'mashpech. The ground became inclined like a funnel. Kol makom sheyachem mehem. So there's two ways to explain Rashi and the Midrash before Rashi are bothered by the fact that it says it swallowed up Datan and Aviram amongst all of Israel. What does that mean? So one explanation is wherever they would walk, they would be swallowed up, meaning this whole crew of the rebels. But Rabbi Yehuda there, but Rabbi Nechemiah doesn't like that. So Rabbi Nechemiah, because it says the earth opened up its mouth once,
Yeah,
not many times. So he gives a different explanation. He says that the earth became like a slant, and then they all rolled down towards the funnel where they all towards the hole, and then they all ended up in that hole. And everybody, I guess, else was able to have traction and not get rolled into that.
So like cracked and then folded.
Yeah, people were just like ducking them there, and the earth would just slide them down.
No, in terms of the pashtus is that the ground cracked open. So-
Once. But then we have a problem because this pasuk says that they were swallowed up amongst all of Israel.
So either it was like a funnel, but then what's the other explanation?
That it opened up multiple times.
I see, like opened up for Korach and then opened up.
Yeah.
again For.
That's ended up
That's
here.
an idea.
You want to go into Kabbalah, Rabbi?
Kabbalah, why?
The only other time that the earth opened its mouth to swallow something was the blood of Hevel,
Oh wow.
and the Shara Gilgulim, Chaim Vital, says that
Korach was
that-
Hevel.
Korach was
Cain?
Hevel and Moshe. No, Moshe was Cain. I don't deal with that kind of stuff.
All right, we'll stop on that note. Shkoyach, beautiful learning today. Shkoyach.